Hello everyone, happy Sunday and welcome to my channel. My name is Talisha and I also go by CreativiTeeByT, and today I'm going to be sharing with you two first time makes, and that's going to be two zip hoodies and a bomber jacket. So not only is this project a first time makes experience with these particular type of garments, but it's also the first time that I used only my serger on a project, and that is just something that I thought I wouldn't do because I don't really trust my serger. So this is also a collaboration with Rochelle of Rochelle.handmade.designs. Rochelle and I were in conversation about sewing projects, and I had mentioned that I was going to be making my first bomber jacket, and she said that she was going to be making one too. So she and I decided to collaborate and sew the same pattern together, and we were able to share a few tricks and tips along the way. And for me, that is one of the things that makes collaborations fun and beneficial. So I really appreciate those little tips that we kind of went back and forth on, and I will share that with you later on. So I will leave all of her information in this description box below, and you can check out her video after you watch mine. So I made these two zip bomber jackets for my sons because I was in Joann's one day and noticed the cute fabric that had the puppy dogs with the pumpkins on them, and I wanted to make like a jogging suit for my sons with that fabric. But my husband had suggested hoodies, and I thought that was brilliant because they could get much more wear out of wearing a hoodie. So that is what I made, and I feel like they came out absolutely adorable. I mean, everywhere they have gone in those jackets, people have noticed them and complimented them because, you know, you're not going to see that anywhere else. That's definitely not on the shelf. So love it. So their jackets were the first that I made out of these projects, and it was very easy. And the only thing is that I did have an issue around the top of the zipper when I made the first bomber jacket because I cut off too much of the extra zipper tape. But because I noticed what I did wrong with that one, the second one came out perfect. And I used, like I said, my serger for their bomber jackets to make the whole thing, and it made the process so much faster. It was a good experience. At the time that I had purchased their puppy dog pumpkin fabric, I had also purchased some candy corn fabric so that we could kind of like match with the little fall theme. But I was looking on Pinterest one day, and I noticed these sequin bomber jackets that had popped up, and then something came over me and I kept thinking about it, and then I started looking at my sequin fabric that was in my stash, and just like that, the candy corn was off the table. But overall, I am very happy with these three makes. I used Simplicity 8418 along with Rochelle to make my bomber jacket, and I used the Zip It hoodie pattern from Ellie and Mac to make the boys jacket, which is actually on clearance right now for $3 because they are going to discontinue the pattern. So if you look at the boys hoodie and see that that's something that you would like and you don't mind using a PDF pattern, I go ahead and purchase it, and I'll go ahead and put the information in the description box below. But as for now, I will go ahead and talk more in detail about the patterns, my experience with making these types of garments for the first time, what went well and what didn't go so well. So again, I use Simplicity 8418 for my bomber jacket, and I made View B, and this pattern has a 5-star rating on the Simplicity website, and there are like so many people that have sewn this pattern and posted their final makes on Instagram, and they had excellent outcomes in my opinion. All the jackets look great. So the pattern description is Mrs. Line bomber jacket with fabric and trim variations, and there are only 2 views on this pattern, and to be honest, there's really no difference between views A and B except for using a contrasting color like how I did on the shoulders and on the sleeve bands and such. The sewing skill level is not rated by the pattern company, but I would say that it is more an intermediate level sewing project or above. The pattern pieces that were included within the pattern are a total of 12, but I only had to use 8 pieces to make my jacket, and those pattern pieces included the front, the back, the sleeve front, the sleeve back, the sleeve band, the waistband, the pockets, the neckband, and the lower band tab. So the notions that you need, of course, is going to be your thread and a 22-inch invisible zipper. So the suggested fabrics are going to be brocade, corduroy, denim, flannel, leather-like fabrics, micro suede, ponte, poplin, satin, silky types, suede, and suede types. Also twill and wool types, and for the bands, of course you're going to need like a stretchable rib knit. So the pattern sizing is sizes 4 through 22, and I cut at size 20, but I actually measure the size 18. However, I went with a 20 because that gives me 3.5 inches of ease in the event that I want to wear a sweater underneath my jacket when it gets colder, and that would give me room to be able to zip it up and not feel like a stuffed turkey. But honestly, I'm glad I didn't make it smaller because it would just be like super fitted, and that's not really the look that I'm going for. So I do think that it looks like the model's picture on the pattern cover, and the instructions were easy to follow. But I do think that there was a slight error or misprint in the instructions, and I say that because when it comes to attaching the lower band, the instruction says to interface the band, but I thought it was strange that the pattern piece does not say cut one of band and cut one of interfacing like it usually does when you need to do that. So I'm not sure what Simplicity actually recommends, but I did not interface mine because when I was sewing up the boys' patterns, even though it was from a different pattern company, theirs did not call for interfacing, and theirs turned out fine. Like I said, I don't really know what they wanted, but I spoke to Rochelle about it, and like I said, one of the things that's beneficial about collaborating with someone, because you're sewing it at the same time, and she also agreed that it was probably an error because she has so many bomber jackets and she has not interfaced those either, and those patterns didn't call for interfacing on that lower band. So just let me know in the comments if you've ever made a bomber jacket like this and put interfacing in the lower bands. What's been your experience with that? So the things that I disliked about the pattern was really nothing. I mean, it seemed like it took a long time to get it finished. I think it took me a total of 3 days, you know, with the time that I had available to sew it up. It's fully lined, so it took quite a bit of time, but other than that, you know, there was nothing that I disliked about the pattern. And the things that stood up about the pattern that I liked is I like the raglan sleeves. I actually just love raglan sleeves. I do like how the look of the lower band is with the gathers, even though you really can't see them that well because it's a sequin. And I love the pockets and just the overall style of the jacket. I just love it. So I don't have any recommendations or modification things to tell you because I sewed it as is, and this is the look that I was going for, so I don't feel like there's a need for anything like that. And the fabric that I use, so for the main fabric that I use a reversible rainbow sequin fabric. Before I cut into this fabric, I was so torn between this fabric and some black sequin fabric that I have. I couldn't make a decision for the life of me, so I put a poll on Instagram asking followers to vote for which fabric I should use. Hey everyone, so I'm getting ready to make this bomber jacket. Which fabric should I use? I want to make a sequence, but I'm torn. And the rainbow sequin won. I had never done a voting poll like that before for fabric to use for a project, and it was actually pretty fun, and just anticipating which fabric would win. And I had a lot, in my opinion, of voters, because honestly I didn't know that many people actually looked at my stories. And I'm not like consistent with my stories and things like that either, but that's another reason why I was kind of shocked that I had such a great voting participation. But it was fun and exciting, and it was the winner. So back to the main fabric. I picked this fabric up in the fashion and fabric district in downtown Los Angeles when I had gone there to visit, and I purchased it about 2 years ago. Yeah, my local Joann's and Hobby Lobby at that time had all of a sudden stopped carrying sequin fabric, and I wanted to make like a festive pencil skirt with it. So I obviously did make the skirt, but I do see this fabric in my local stores now, so that's why I was okay with using it to make this project, because I can always go to Hobby Lobby or Joann's and purchase more. However, I don't think they carry like the reversible ones, but as long as it's rainbow or whatever, it'll do. So for the sleeves, I used some faux leather that I have had in my stash for quite a while. I was originally going to make leggings out of this, but this is something that you can like get anywhere, so I'll revisit that later if that's something that I want to make. And I did purchase this when I did get it from Hobby Lobby. I would definitely recommend this pattern to others. So for the boys, I again used the Ellie and Mac Zip It jacket pattern, and it was such an easy jacket to make. And the description for that jacket says that it is a comfortable, stylish, and definitely a must-have for your little one. So it features a hood, color block sleeve or regular sleeves. It has pocket, zip front, and it can be reversible, and it's a PDF pattern as well. So as they grow, I can always just continue to print that pattern off until they're no longer in the pattern size. The skill level was not rated on their site, but I believe an advanced beginner could do this also. Definitely a great pattern to make for like your grandchildren, your children, you know, nieces and nephews, because it was just so easy and quick to do. There are 7 pattern pieces to this, which included the hood, front, back, sleeves, pocket, lower band, and sleeve band. And the notions that I used was thread and a separating zipper, and that size of the zipper just depends on what size you cut, and I used a size 14 and 16 inch, so that was for a 3T and 5T. So for the suggested fabrics, this jacket is designed to be made using 2 to 4 way stretch fabrics. Fleece was also used with several jackets, and they had great outcomes with that. And the pattern sizing is from 18 months through big kids 12. So very size inclusive for the kids. Like I said, I cut a 3T and a 5T, and my children that I made those for are 2 and 3. And so I do think that it looks like the pattern cover. The instructions were super easy to follow, and there's also a sew along video for this pattern as well, so you don't necessarily have to read the instructions. You could just watch the video. There was nothing that I disliked about this pattern either. It was perfectly fine, and the things that I did like about it that stood out was just how easy it was to sew up, and the instructions were very great. And so when I say it was easy, it was easy, and I believe even an advanced beginner could do this, even though there's a zipper involved. I don't have any recommendations. I didn't make any type of modifications. I purchased this knit fabric, like I think I said earlier, from Joann Fabrics. And the issue though that I have with this fabric, which is one of the reasons why I kind of veered off from using the candy corn fabric for my pattern, is I think it's kind of poor in quality because of how it takes to needles. It doesn't matter whether it's stretch needles or regular needles. It's just like the white from the back side of the fabric comes through, and then there's like holes in there, and even if you put an iron to the holes don't disappear. If you press it too hard, you see those press marks and they don't go away, you know. So I didn't like that part of it. And what really made it noticeable was I did a basting stitch for the zipper, and when I opened the basting stitch up, it was just full of holes. And I pressed, like I said, I pressed that area out, and it was just, you know, it was a mess. And I got it to look visibly like okay, but I wasn't happy about it. And the other thing that I kind of disliked about the fabric is for this to be like a fall themed fabric, it's super thin, like very thin. Like there's no way I could have made this jacket and it actually like made them warm. So I was able to find a very thick ribbed knit that I use for the lining, and I also picked that up from Joann's, and it gave the jacket a very good and perfect weight in my opinion. So I was happy with the overall outcomes, but yeah, I wasn't thrilled with that quality, but it's cute. It's cute. So now I will enter clips and pictures to show you more of the boys' hoodie jackets and my bomber jacket. So that is it for my first time jacket projects. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you liked both styles of the jacket and how they turned out. If you did, go ahead and click that like button and leave a comment in the comment section below to let me know your thoughts. And don't forget to go over to Rochelle's channel to see her jacket, how it turned out, and her review of the jacket. And I will leave all of her information in the description box below for easy access. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all my new and returning subscribers for your support. If you are not already subscribed, please go ahead and click that subscribe button to the channel so that you can be notified whenever I upload a video. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!